Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday, the 22nd of February, 2021. I hope you're all COVID-free. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. And double blessings on those that work in the healthcare field that help people who are sick. Also, double blessings to those pick up garbage, who make deliveries of goods and services to us, for us, especially also those that are out here trying to rescue little boys, little girls, teenagers from sex trade operations, and those working for the homeless. So there was a basketball game last night. Our New York Knicks played against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And before we get into the game, I just want to say, there was a different referee crew, if you noticed, last night than had been with the Knicks for games prior. And there's the three, of course, and the female referee last night was excellent. I've seen her before. She's worked, Knicks games before, and she does a tremendous job, much better than the one previous. She was actually the best of the three. Couple of the other guys made some very questionable calls, but you're going to get that, I guess, in the course of a game. But that was a much better crew, and you could kind of see it in the stats because the fouls were pretty close. I think the Knicks committed 25 fouls, and the Timberwolves committed 24 fouls. Yeah, it was 24 to 25. So it was very closely contested game. In this game, the biggest disappointment, I know the Knicks grinded out a win, and yes, we want a win, and now the Knicks are 15-16, one game away from 500 with a very tough game coming up against Golden State. But the Knicks were dominating this game. They were dominating the game in the first quarter. They were dominating the second quarter. And what I saw was them definitely take their foot off the gas. This is what happened. They started dominating the game. The Timberwolves couldn't do anything to stop them. The Knicks were getting anything they wanted. And they were playing excellent defense. The first quarter, the Timberwolves only scored 18 points. At the half, the Knicks, to me, there's certain, there's certain score marks that tell me you're having a good offensive game or not, a good or bad defensive game. If a team gets 30 in a quarter, that means you're having a good offensive game if you're the team that scored 30. And if you could lock the other team up to under 25, you're doing very well. And the first quarter was 30-18 in favor of the Knicks. And so it was a very good situation. They were playing excellent defense, and they scored 30 points. The half, 60 points is the marker I use. So if you could get 60 in a half, that means there's good defense. Sometimes both teams get over 60. It means there's not much defense being played. The Knicks have played a couple of games like that this year. But the half was 62-50. Okay. So the Knicks were playing good defense, and and the offense was clicking. Then they started slacking off. And that's what it was. They were slacking off. I saw Julius even taking his time, laughing, being very nonchalant about the game in the third quarter. Okay. And the whole team was kind of loosening up as if the game was over. Problem was the Timberwolves didn't think the game was over. And they started mounting a comeback. The Knicks still won the quarter, but it was getting out of hand. And then the fourth quarter, they got, this is the NBA. Once you let any NBA team feel like they can win the game or feel like they got momentum, anything can happen. And the momentum shifted. And what ended up happening in the third and the fourth, especially the fourth quarter, is the Knicks, the ball movement stopped. The Knicks only ended up with 17 assists last night. They only ended up with 17 assists. And the Timberwolves had 24 assists. The Knicks ended up with 17. Timberwolves had 24. And why was that? Because they were passing. The ball was moving very well first and second quarter. But then at the end of the third, going into the fourth, especially the fourth, the Knicks went into ISO mode because they started panicking because the momentum shifted. As a matter of fact, the Timberwolves ended up taking their first lead of the game in the fourth quarter. And they started going into ISO mode with Julius. Okay, now there's times you want to depend on your all-star, to get you a basket. But every time down the floor, and so the offense stalled because they kept trying to just toss it to Julius and hope he could carry us home. Can't win like that. You got to keep moving the basketball regardless, and I'm sure Thibodeau's going to let them know that. You got to keep moving the basketball regardless, okay? And then, if you get a one-possession game, yeah, then you look for your guy at that point, okay? And special shout out to Taj Gibson because it was a one-possession game, and they had let all of a sudden Anthony Towns in the first half was out of sync. I mean, really feel sorry for the Cap because, he apparently had 5 or 6 or 7 members of his family die from the COVID, including his mother. That's gotta be, devastating. Then he got it himself and he was isolated for a minute and sick. Prayers to him, man. Blessings to Towns and his family because that's hard, man. So, if it was me, and he played like this, the basketball court would be like a sanctuary. It'd be like a place you could go and forget about everything, for 48 minutes, And in the first half, though, he was out of sync. The Knicks had him bottled up. He committed some fouls. He got a tech. And, I thought that was all she wrote, the way the Knicks was playing, and then they had him bottled up. But then because we slacked up, because they started getting nonchalant in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, Minnesota got momentum back. Towns came back with a vengeance, okay? And he ended up with 27, but he scored a lot of those points in the fourth quarter. He was going off in the fourth quarter, had 15 boards. And Towns is a Knick killer. I mean, since his rookie year, he's been a Knick killer. He's one of those guys that, he's from Jersey, he's from the area, so when he comes into the Garden, he gets lit, man, and he starts going off. Well, that sleeping giant woke up in the fourth quarter. And so, that was a problem. That was a problem. And so it was us being nonchalant and letting them come back. That's what ended up happening. We should, hopefully, again, as part of the Knicks development, we have to play 48 minutes of basketball. We can't let up against anybody. Now, obviously between Detroit and Minnesota, they're 2 worst teams in the NBA record-wise. But there's a lot of parity in the NBA. There's a lot of parity in the, okay, so you got your teams like the Lakers, probably the Clippers, that are clearly, at the top of the pile in terms of, level of ability, talent, threat to win it all, blah, 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 clearly. Now Utah is at that level also. But after that, anything can happen in any team at any time. Like Milwaukee is at the top. The Nets are going good, but the Nets don't play no defense. Milwaukee's not consistent. Okay? So anything can happen. Boston just got beat by the Pelicans the other night. So anything can happen on any night with any team. And so this is the NBA. And so here again, Minnesota started going off. Now, we found our rhythm at the end, thanks to Alec Burks. They started moving the ball a little bit at the end, and I was glad of that because that's what really saved the game. Alec Burks hit some big shots at the end, especially some foul shots. He put the game away. Our boy RJ was missing, I don't know how many 8-foot shots that Cat missed last night. I'm talking about shots that were within, that he really should hit and that he really has hit in the past. He was just not hitting. I'm glad we got the win, but it wasn't the prettiest win. It's one of those wins that we would have lost last year. This is the Tom Thibodeau difference. This is the Tom Thibodeau effect right now. Okay. We would have lost this game last year. Definitely would have lost this game. But this year we win it because at the end, the Knicks started tightening up on their defense. They started moving the ball a little bit. They got the momentum back. And then that big stop that Taj did on Karl Anthony Towns. You knew they were going to go to him. It was a 1-possession game. I think there was 20 seconds left. They got the ball to him. He went to one of his patented moves and it rolled in and out. And I'm saying that was good defense because that rolling in and out, That was happening to Derrick Rose all night. I mean, Derrick Rose was what it says is 1 of 8. It looked worse than that even. He couldn't buy a basket, man. He was getting to the rim and could not. The ball was going in and out. It was going in and out. It happened to RJ a couple times too, real close. And so for it to happen to Karl Anthony Towns in that possession, to me was poetic justice because that had been happening to the Knicks all night. But this is the type of game that we would have lost last year that we won this year, and it's the Tom Thibodeau difference. This is why I say the Knicks are on the pace. They're going to win 31 games, possibly more, and they're looking at playoffs. We're looking at the playoffs. Right now, as it stands, the Knicks are in the 7th seed right now, okay? And 7th seed. They've been hanging between 6 and 8 all season, between 6 and 8. The Knicks have been all season, and now we're 31 games into the season. We got 5 more games before we get the halfway point. Okay, and the Knicks have Golden State coming up. Golden State, the Kings, and the Pacers. None of these teams are pushovers. Okay, you got to play, and the good thing is that all 3 of them games are at home, so they're home all week. And like I said, today's Monday. Just played last night, so they're home. They get no travel. They get to practice. Okay, because they gotta be ready now. Stephen Curry, I think in the last game, he came out, but then they showed him on the video at halftime. He looked terrible, like he had a cold or virus or flu or something. They said it wasn't COVID, but people still can get colds. It is winter. So he looked sick, and they brought him back to the locker room. So I mean, he didn't play last night, and he's probably gonna be recovering today, but I would not sleep on Stephen Curry. Worse things have happened. I mean, Michael Jordan once scored like 40-something in the finals game with the flu. And I would not put it past Stephen Curry. So this is going to be a tough game. Then they threw Draymond Green behind out the game against New Orleans because he ran his mouth too much. And so we can expect all of that noise coming into the Garden. There's going to be fans there. I think 2,000 fans are going to be allowed there Tuesday night now. So this is not going to be easy. So we got to come ready to play. We can't, and there's no slacking up. I don't think the Knicks would slack up against the Warriors because of the Warriors' reputation for shooting threes. They slacked up against Minnesota because Minnesota only won 7 games all season and they thought they had it in the bag. Can't be doing that. But this game right here coming up, they got to be ready to play. You got to be ready to play. So, kudos to Taj Gibson. He only scored 2 points, but he made the biggest defensive play of the game. Kudos to Alec Burks because at the end of the game, he was hitting his foul shots and he nailed some very important shots down the stretch to help us. Kudos also to, of course, our all-star Julius Randle, 25 points, 14 boards. The boy always doing work. Now, he did slack off. He was losing his focus, in the fourth quarter. But then he came back and did what he had to do. He played with 5 fouls. Nerlens Noel played excellent defense all game. He played with 5 fouls for a long time before he fouled out. That last call, that ref needs some glasses. Karl Anthony Towns hooked Nerlens Noel's arm and they called the foul on Nerlens Noel. And then the other male ref, the ball was passed and it bounced off Nerlens Noel's big feet and they called the foul on Nerlens Noel. That was some stuff, man. So 2 of his fouls were, one of them was ridiculous and the other one was questionable at best. So, but again, overall, it was a good officiated game. That female ref did a tremendous job. She's good. I hope we get her every game because she does a good job. She really is on top of it. She doesn't blow the whistle needlessly. She's watching the game intently. You could just tell she keeps up with the game. She's watching everything. She sees it. So yeah, kudos to Julius, kudos to Alec Burke, kudos to Taj Gibson on that defensive play at the end. RJ ended up scoring 21. Matter of fact, the Knicks had 6 players in double figures, always a good sign, led by Julius with 25. You had 21 with RJ, 11 with 13 with Burke, 11 with Payton. Then you had 10 by Bullock and Nerlens Noel had 10. That's excellent, even though we only had 17 assists. They all, well, they got their points. It was enough. I guess it was enough. But usually when you get 6 players in double figures, you'll see a high assist number. We did not see a high assist number with 17 assists. We got to do better. We only shot 33% from three. They shot 46% from three. And most of that, again, was the fourth quarter. They was just hitting them threes in the fourth quarter. All of their guys was hitting threes in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, we can't be letting up like that against none of these teams we got coming up. Golden State, tough. The Kings, tough. And of course, Pacers, tough. Pacers, if I'm not mistaken, the Pacers are in the top 4 in the East. Let me just check. I think they 4th or 5th in the East. They're 4th in the East. Yeah, the Pacers are 4th in the East. So this is not going to be no joke either. And we've played them, of course. We played them a couple times already. I think we 1-1 against them. I think we lost 1-1 against them. So this is not going to be easy. Again, 3 tough games coming up. We got to be ready. If we can win this next one, we can get back to 500. That's what we're looking for. So let's see. The Knicks battling. It's 31 games in, and we're 15-16. I mean, obviously, we'd like to be 31-0. Okay, but that's not the situation. But way better than what anybody expected of the Knicks beginning of this year. There's some one cat was talking about they were only going to win 20 games this year. And I said, there's 75 games, right? He said, yeah, I know. I was like, I don't know what some of y'all are thinking. But anyway, I guess you watching NBA 2K and not the game. But the Knicks are playing good basketball. They have won 4 out of their last 5. They are 6-4 in their last 10. And so let's just keep this moving. We got a game tomorrow night against Golden State. Let's get this win, man. Let's keep it rolling. Shalom. Have a good day. Be safe out there. Shalom.